Panganiban has Coach Dulce, which is always an interesting thing. It's always interesting to listen to these two coaches, actually, of these two teams. Let's start with Coach Dulce. Go ahead, man.
Yes, boom. Indeed, this is the Battle of the Birds, and I'm here at the Falcons nest with, of course, the mother falcon herself, Coach Dulce Bate, Mami. Let's talk about the DLSU game nung isang araw. 3 sets po tayong natalo ng Lasal. Paano po tinake ng mga bata yon? Is the moral affected po?
Hindi naman. Kaya lang, siguro talagang masama lang ang laro ng mga bata. May kasabihan tayo na hindi naman lahat ng oras ay yung mag-aano sila, mag-i-excel. Pero mabuti na nga yung medyo natalo sila, nakaranas sila na natalo, at least mag-i-strive hard sila ngayon.
Ayun po. Ngayon po, kalaban po natin ang Ateneo. Pareho pong 2-1 yung standing natin. Napanood na po natin yung Ateneo ilang beses na. Sa tingin niyo po, ano yung magiging approach nyo ngayon? Is it gonna be offensive-minded or defensive-minded?
Okay, kagaya pa rin ng dati, kailangan maano nila yung blocking kasi magagaling din naman itong mga Ateneo. Pagkatapos, yung kanilang defense, ibalik nila para makuha din namin ang ano. Kasi nung nakaraang laro namin, kulang sila sa receive kaya hindi maibigay na maganda sa mga mamamalo. Yun.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Good luck, Mommy. There you have it, Coach Dulce Bate of the ADMU Lady Falcons. Boom.
Thank you very much, man. You know, when it comes to Adamson, I always feel that it's all about defense, really. They are the best digging team so far and the best receiving team, so that says a lot. And that's what encapsulates what Coach Dulce just said.
That's right. Well, you know, Adamson, for the longest time, we're not just speaking of this season, but for the longest time, Adamson has been one of the best defending teams, or the defense teams here in the UAAP.
That's, of course, all from the Mother Falcon, as she was called earlier, by Man Panganiban, Coach Dulce. All right, let's go to the other side. As we look at Leslie Gata, who is the best receiver of the league so far. The Ateneo of Lady Eagles lost big against LaSalle, 3 straight sets. And then they came back against NU, hoping to bounce back from that. They were very disappointed with that loss against LaSalle. It's not just the loss, but how they lost. They lost in 3 sets against LaSalle. But they came back against NU and buried them also in 3 sets.
That's right. And on your screens, of course, you can see the scores 25-18, 25-20, 25-21. Well, there was a set, of course, it was a bit scores higher than we expected. But we know that NU has really been performing very well, especially in this season.
Correct. And you look at the numbers, Ateneo, just like what LaSalle did to Adamson, Ivy, yung pouncing on those opponent errors, no?
That's right. It's basically the errors of NU that contributed to the win of Ateneo.
And of course, NU still, even as they have improved, still have a lot of tweaking to do against the elite teams of the league. Now, when you talk about Ateneo, obviously their #1 go-to girl here is Z Hervasio, and then you have Gretchen Ho, and then you have Bea Pascual. But on the second year of this 3-year program where Phil Cainlet was part of the recruitment, we know that maybe this year and next year we'll see her starting to fill the role of being one of the primary attackers.
Definitely. I can see that Phil is one of the most promising players here for Ateneo. And just in her game when they played against NU, she scored 12 points and 9 attack points, 2 service aces, and 1 block. It's very impressive.
Yes. And then personally, I think she really has to work on her consistency and her power to develop more power behind those attacks. And the man who was tasked to develop this team as a whole last year in a part of that 3-year program, Coach Roger Gorayev, with our very own Ricky Flores. Ricky.
Yeah, so Coach, last year you lost to Adamson twice in the eliminations. How have you prepared for them today?
Basically, yung preparation naman namin is more on the development of the skills ng team, ang Adamson kasi is medyo ahead sila sa amin in the sense na mas marami silang senior player. They have Benting, they have Soriano, But we're trying to make our best na ma-develop kaagad yung skills ng mga bata, Doon namin inuumpisan, and then we try to introduce new plays para naman in the near future we can use it.
Okay, so Coach Roger, you said they had more senior players. Adamson had more senior players. Sino pa yung mga ace players na we're gonna watch out for today?
It's Benting naman, and Soriano is always there to give strength to Adamson. No? So we'll try to watch these two players.
Right, so yeah, thank you so much, Coach. Boom.
Thank you very much, Ricky Flores from the Ateneo side, Coach Roger Gurayev. Of course, probably the winningest coach in college now with the Ateneo side. Still, of course, with San Sebastian, but with the UAP now has taken over the chores to develop this bunch that made a lot of noise last year, knocked on the Final Four door, but just couldn't get over the hump. And that's what they're aiming for right now, to be more competitive, to be, stay with the elite teams. Earlier, Ivy, I mentioned they were disappointed in that LaSalle loss because I heard Coach Roger Gurayev saying that last year we were able to extend LaSalle to 5 sets. We were able to extend FU to 5 sets, Adamson to 5 sets, and FEU UST to 5 sets. So that was a good sign for him that they were able to really compete with the elite teams in women's volleyball. That's why they were so disappointed that they only lost by 3 sets in that game.
Well, I would agree with, of course, with Coach Roger at that point, because being able to go stretch the match to 5 sets, and like you mentioned, these going against the elite teams, that really says a lot about the performance of your team. But now, when you lose at 3 sets, then of course Coach Roger might be scratching his head and saying, "What happened?"
Yes, and of course credit goes also to De La Salle naman. Ano? I mean, they are the defending champions, so I mean when they put their foot down, they can really step on that gas. But I think from the side of Coach Roger Gurayev and the Ateneo community in general, you're supposed to be on the up and up. You're supposed to improve. So
they were probably expecting to stretch the match also at least 4 to 5 sets.
Yes.
They're not expecting to lose in 3 sets.
Although the second set of that one, which reached I think 28 points for Ateneo versus LaSalle, really was exciting. That was an exciting set. Probably so far the most exciting set here in this very young season. All right, and early on we're tied at 1-1. It is Ateneo versus Adamson. Pao Soriano, a former rookie, also improving in terms of her skills, her strength. And she's filled up a little compared to last year na papayat-payat, parang si Charlene Cruz, who was the best player earlier in the first game.